speaking softly, as if sharing a secret. Hello there. It's wonderful to have you join me again. Before we drift away together, I'd love for you to let me know where and what time you're listening from. It's always a joy to connect. You're waking now, very slowly, in the heart of a medieval winter. The year is, well, time feels a little different here. You are in snowy Sleep Village, and the dawn is just beginning to stir. But it brings with it a chill that bites deep. A first breath so frigid it feels like you're inhaling slivers of ice, sharp and clean, right into your lungs. There's a smell that hangs heavy in the air, a comforting yet slightly unsettling blend of damp wool that's never quite dried, the ghost of stale wood smoke from last night's fire, and the musky, earthy scent of the livestock kept close by, their warmth a distant promise. And then, just at the edge of your hearing, a sound emerges from the pre-dawn quiet. A wolf's howl. A long, mournful note that travels on the cold air. A primal echo of how small and vulnerable we are against the vast, indifferent wilderness. It's a sound that makes the hairs on your arms prickle, not from fear, but from a deep, ancient awareness. You shift, and the rough-spun blanket, meant to provide warmth, instead scratches at your skin, a constant, low-grade discomfort that you're almost used to. Your fingers, stiff and cold, fumble for the latch of your sleeping pallet, the rough wooden texture unforgiving under your numb touch. Every slight movement you make feels like a small battle, a slow push against the encroaching chill that seems to seep through even the thick wattle and daub walls, finding every tiny crack and crevice. Looking towards where the light will eventually come, you can sense the world outside, a muffled canvas of white, the silence so profound that it feels pregnant, heavy with the unspoken threat of the elements. It's a quiet that holds its breath, waiting. It makes you wonder, in these moments between sleep and waking, how much of our world is simply a gentle pushing back against the cold, a fragile warmth we kindle against the vast, sleeping frost. And now, as the first hint of that pale, frigid light begins to seep into the small dwelling, you notice the faint, flickering glow of a tallow candle, its tiny flame a determined defiance against the oppressive, clinging darkness. Your immediate, most pressing task is to coax some semblance of life, some feeling, back into limbs that feel as though they've been frozen solid overnight. The floor beneath your bare feet is packed earth, still holding the deep chill of the frozen ground, and the air itself feels thick, heavy with the lingering ghosts of yesterday's breath, a tangible testament to the shared warmth that is now dissipated. Then a scent begins to cut through the cold, the unmistakable aroma of wood smoke, a beacon of hope that draws your attention, pulling you towards the hearth, the promise of its rekindled warmth, a quiet victory you're determined to achieve. You can hear the gentle clatter of wooden bowls being set out, the soft, rhythmic scrape of a rough knife against a loaf of bread that's clearly been hardened by the cold, each sound a tiny reassurance, a fundamental signal of survival in this place. The first taste of the day is a thin, watery gruel, its flavor almost entirely absent, a stark contrast to the sweetness you might associate with sustenance. It's a meager fuel, barely enough to power the arduous tasks that await, a stark reminder of the constant negotiation required to simply exist here. It makes you pause, just for a moment, to consider the effortless warmth of a modern home, the flick of a switch that brings instant heat, and to truly appreciate that here, in this place, warmth is not a given, but a precious victory, hard-won each and every day against an unforgiving climate. It's in these small acts of coaxing warmth back into existence, in these simple sensory exchanges, that you begin to understand the quiet resilience that binds life together. Now, as you step outside the small, warm dwelling, the world greets you with a sound, a crisp, satisfying crunch underfoot, each step a testament to the thick carpet of snow, now laden with a delicate but firm layer of ice. The air, when you draw it into your lungs, bites at your exposed cheeks, a raw, stinging sensation that sharpens your senses. Your hands, already stiffening, reach for the wooden bucket, its weight immediately apparent, and the frozen ropes groan a little under your grip as you begin to pull, a heavy, unwieldy burden. When you swing the bucket towards the well, the clanging sound it makes as it hits the ice-crusted opening echoes with a deep, resonant emptiness, a hollow suggestion of the dark depths below. Then comes the real sound, the precious, life-giving sound of water being drawn, a faint gurgle that seems to rise from miles away, a quiet symphony against the brittle silence of the village. As you work to hoist the full bucket, a fine, icy spray leaps up, coating your hands with a sharp, unwelcome shock, a visceral reminder of the immense effort required for mere survival here. This isn't the quick, convenient flow from a modern tap. This is a communal struggle, a silent pact you're participating in, all in an effort to defy nature's icy grip. It's in these small, repetitive actions, the constant push against the cold, that you feel the slow, steady pulse of life itself. Stepping inside the small, smoky dwelling of the village elder, you're immediately enveloped by a distinct scent, a layered fragrance of old parchment, the sharp, metallic tang of dried ink, and the subtle, lingering sweetness of beeswax. The air within is not much warmer than outside, and you can see the elder's breath misting faintly before him, a visible sign of the frigid temperature. His fingers, clumsy and stiff with the cold, attempt a delicate maneuver, dipping a quill into an ink pot, a dark pool that seems to threaten to freeze solid at any moment. Then, a sound emerges, soft yet distinct, the gentle, intimate whisper of the quill, scratching across the rough, uneven surface of the parchment. It's a sound that fills the quiet room, a stark contrast to the vastness outside, a tiny assertion of human endeavor. The elder's gaze is focused, his brow furrowed slightly, as he painstakingly records the day's events, births, deaths, the meager yields of the recent harvest. It's a tangible process, so different from the effortless flicker of digital records, each stroke of the quill a deliberate act, vulnerable to the very elements that surround them. This is a fragile human endeavor, a persistent, quiet recording of life against the vast, indifferent expanse of winter. It makes you think about the weight of memory, the way we try to capture moments, to hold them steady against the ceaseless flow of time, a constant effort to leave some trace. As you approach the blacksmith's forge, the first thing that registers is a sensation, a powerful, almost violent wave of heat radiating outwards, a welcome assault against the biting cold that has permeated everything. It's a physical force, pushing back the chill, making your exposed skin tingle. Then comes the sound, a symphony of elemental power, the deep, resonant roar of the bellows working furiously, the sharp, violent hiss and crackle as white-hot metal is plunged into water, and the constant, rhythmic, deafening clang of hammer on anvil, a powerful beat that resonates through your very bones. The air itself is thick, heavy with the acrid, biting smell of coal smoke, the metallic tang of hot iron, and the undeniable scent of honest sweat. And then there are the sparks, tiny, fleeting bursts that fly outwards like angry fireflies, momentarily illuminating the faces of the smiths, their expressions etched with grim concentration. The sheer physical exertion is almost overwhelming, a raw, undeniable display of human strength, actively shaping a brutal, unforgiving world with sheer will and muscle. It's a powerful reminder of how we carve our existence from the raw materials around us, a primal dance between human effort and the unyielding earth. Now you feel the weight of a tool newly forged, still radiating a faint residual heat that seeps into your hands, a tangible warmth against the pervasive chill. Its texture is rough, uneven, a stark testament to its singular purpose. Function over form, designed not for beauty but for unyielding necessity. As you hold it, the sharp metallic scent of quenching oil fills the air, a distinct aroma that speaks of transformation and resilience. This object, this simple implement, is more than just metal. It's an extension of your own will to survive, a crucial partner in the relentless demands of the land and the unforgiving grip of the season. You can almost feel the echo of each strike of the hammer that shaped it, each blow imprinting not just its form, but the very essence of survival into its being. Unlike the ephemeral tools of today, this is crafted to endure, a hand-forged necessity that will see you through the long winter and into the promise of spring. It's a quiet understanding that forms between you and this tool, a shared purpose etched in iron. Inside the small cottage, the air is filled with a constant, rhythmic clatter, the sound of a wooden loom at work, a steady, almost hypnotic pulse that seems to fill every corner of the space. Your fingers trace the texture of rough wool. The fibers course against your fingertips, spun and then dyed with natural pigments, giving it a subtle, earthy hue. The air itself carries the rich, slightly lanolin-scented aroma of the wool, mingling subtly with the soft glow and faint smell of lamp oil. It's a scent that speaks of patience, of quiet labor. You watch as the shuttle dances back and forth, a blur of motion between the warp threads, a meticulous ballet of creation. This intricate movement doesn't just produce cloth. It weaves the very fabric of life here, the thick blankets that fend off the bitter cold, the tunics that shield the body, the sacks that carry precious provisions. This is a slow, deliberate process, a stark contrast to the fleeting trends of modern wardrobes. Each thread, a testament to the resilience needed to endure this harsh climate. It's a quiet testament to the human need to create, to build warmth and protection with one's own hands, a gentle rhythm against the vast silence of the winter. This act of weaving, of patiently bringing order from chaos, feels like a small, consistent victory, a reminder that even in stillness, life is constantly being made. You inhale deeply, and the air fills with the slightly damp, pungent smell emanating from the dying vats, a complex aroma that speaks of earth and roots and patient transformation. Before your eyes, subtle yet vibrant hues begin to emerge, colors so muted they seem almost shy, yet profoundly present. There's the deep, rich indigo, born from the woad plant, a color that speaks of the deepest night sky, and the earthy, grounding ochre, coaxed from the very clay beneath your feet. Then, a muted, warm red, a whisper of life derived from madder root, a gentle contrast to the overwhelming monochrome of the world outside. You observe the careful, almost ritualistic process of mordanting and fixing these colors, a practice steeped in ancient knowledge and driven by practical necessity. These are not mere decorations, these hues. They are a tangible connection to the natural world, a small, quiet act of defiance against the pervasive grayness of the landscape. Imagine the gentle joy these simple colors bring, a precious commodity born from the earth itself, offering a touch of vibrancy and warmth in a world that often feels starved of such hues. It's in these splashes of color, these hard-won shades, that you find a quiet celebration of life's enduring beauty, a reminder that even in the deepest winter, the earth holds its own palate. As you draw near the communal stone oven, an intense, dry heat washes over you, a welcome, almost violent contrast to the biting cold outside. It's a palpable warmth, a physical presence that soothes and embraces. The air is thick with the most comforting aroma imaginable, the pervasive, soul-warming scent of baking bread, yeasty and deeply warm, with just a hint of smoky char from the fire. Your eyes are drawn to the oven's depths, from which loaves are emerging, their crusts a beautiful, golden brown, dusted with a fine layer of flour. Then a sound, The soft hiss of steam as one of these perfect loaves is broken open, revealing the incredibly soft, yielding crumb within, a texture so inviting. The air around you is visibly thick with flour dust, a gentle white powder that seems to settle on your clothes, your hair, everything. This communal oven is the very heart of the village's sustenance, a shared ritual that binds everyone together, a collective act of creation against the encroaching cold. It's in these simple moments, the sharing of warmth and the bounty of freshly baked bread, that you feel the quiet strength of community, a shared endeavor that nourishes both body and spirit. And as you breathe in that warm, yeasty air, you can't help but feel a deep sense of peace, a contentment found in the simple, essential rhythm of life. You hold in your hands the satisfying weight of a dense, hearty loaf, likely made from rye or barley, its solidity a comforting presence. As you bring it closer, the satisfying crunch of the thick, rustic crust gives way with a slight resistance, yielding to a chewy, pleasantly sour interior. The taste is simple, pure, and wholesome, devoid of the artificial additives that often dilute the flavors of modern food. It is a direct taste of the earth itself, a flavor infused with the immense labor invested in its creation, from the initial harvest to the baker's skilled hands. This bread is more than just sustenance. It's the very energy you need to face the day, the tangible culmination of the season's efforts and the baker's enduring craft. It's a fundamental nourishment, a grounding taste that connects you to the very essence of survival in this place. In its honest simplicity, you find a profound appreciation for what truly sustains us. You step into the small stone chapel, and a hush immediately descends. It's a place of hushed reverence, where the air carries the faint, lingering scent of incense, mingling with the cool, damp aroma of ancient stone and aged wood. Flickering candlelight casts long, dancing shadows that play across the rough-hewn walls, giving the space a sense of depth and mystery. From the front, you hear the low, resonant drone of the priest's voice, reciting prayers in a language that echoes in the profound stillness, each word seeming to hang in the air. As you join others, the cold stone floor beneath your worn knees is a stark sensation, a grounding touch as you settle into prayer. There's a palpable sense of something more than just quiet contemplation permeating the space, a blend of enduring hope and a deep-seated, unspoken fear of the unknown. Faith here feels like a bulwark, a carefully constructed defense against the uncertainties of life and the harshness of the world outside. It's in these moments of shared quiet, of hushed voices seeking solace, that you feel the profound human need to connect to something larger than oneself, a gentle anchor in the relentless flow of time. As the prayers within the chapel begin to subside, you observe the villagers around you, their faces etched with the weariness and hardships of the long winter. Their breath mists visibly in the frigid air, a collective exhale of hope and vulnerability. There's a shared, fervent plea for a successful spring planting, a desperate yearning for divine intervention against the ever-present threat of famine. This moment is a powerful juxtaposition of deep spiritual devotion and the very real, physical anxieties of survival. It's not an abstract theological discussion you're witnessing, but a desperate, tangible appeal for the continuation of life, a stark and humbling reminder of humanity's profound dependence on forces that lie far beyond their control. In this quiet gathering, you feel the weight of generations, the continuous cycle of need and faith, and the enduring human spirit that faces each new dawn with a fragile yet persistent hope. Suddenly, the quiet is broken by a sound, a series of shrill, joyous cries that pierce the stillness. It's the sound of children, their breath puffing out in little white clouds as they play in the snow. You hear the muffled thud of snowballs being thrown, the distinct crunch of small boots on the tightly packed snow, and the sharp sting of frozen air against rosy cheeks. The cold seeps into their small, ill-fitting mittens, yet their energy seems boundless. You can almost feel the rough texture of the snow, sometimes powdery and light, sometimes packed hard and icy, as they build meager forts or chase each other in circles. Their laughter, bright and defiant, rises above the pervasive quiet of winter, a fleeting, precious moment of unburdened joy. It's a reminder that even in the harshest of conditions, innocence and delight can find a way to bloom, a vibrant burst of life against the quiet expanse. The sounds of play fade, and a new sensation takes hold. A quiet understanding, a gentle shift from carefree moments to the pull of duty. Your small hand, numb with the persistent cold, tries to gather firewood, the sharp edges of twigs digging into your soft skin with an uncomfortable sharpness. The air is thick with the smell of damp earth, a scent that hints at decaying leaves hidden beneath a thick blanket of snow. There's a quiet realization that childhood, as many understand it today, is a luxury not always afforded here. The contrast with a modern, protected childhood is stark. Here, even the briefest moments of play are tinged with the undeniable necessity of contributing to the family's survival. Every action, no matter how small, feels vital. Every moment counts. You feel the weight of this early responsibility, not as a burden, but as a fundamental part of existence. It's in these small, repetitive tasks, performed with cold, numbed fingers and a growing awareness, that you learn the quiet resilience of life, the gentle strength found in contributing to the warmth and continuation of the village. And as you gather the wood, you feel a sense of purpose, a quiet belonging in the rhythm of survival. You step inside the herbalist's hut, and the air immediately feels close, dry, and thick, with the pungent, earthy aromas of countless drying herbs. It's a complex scent profile, the refreshing sharpness of mint, the soothing, almost floral notes of chamomile, and the deeper, more grounding fragrance of valerian root, all mingling together. Bundles of plants, tied with rough twine, hang from the darkened rafters above, their dried leaves rustling softly with the slightest movement of air, releasing their subtle perfumes. Your fingers, as you reach out, brush against these papery textures, feeling the rough, brittle quality of the dried remedies. It's a small, concentrated world within these walls, a vital repository of natural medicine, a crucial resource for combating the inevitable ailments that come with the harsh realities of this era. Within this quiet space, you can sense the generations of accumulated knowledge, the careful sorting and preparation of nature's bounty, a gentle, persistent effort to bring healing and comfort to the village. You can feel the sticky, damp consistency of mashed herbs as you prepare a poultice, the crushed leaves releasing their potent essence, a strong, grounding aroma filling the small space. Nearby, roots and berries are carefully steeped for teas, the resulting liquids a spectrum of colors, from pale, translucent gold to a deep, opaque brown, each carrying its own distinct, often sharp, scent. These remedies are not born from laboratories or sterile vials. They are products of direct observation, of generations of trial and error, a slow accumulation of natural wisdom. It's a stark contrast to the detached precision of modern pharmacology. Each preparation, each careful steeping, each application of a poultice feels like a small, determined act of defiance against sickness, a vital element in the village's quiet resilience against the pervasive fragility of life. In this methodical process, you sense the deep connection to the earth, the trust placed in its power to heal and sustain. A heavy, unmistakable scent announces the hunter's return, a robust blend of raw meat and damp fur that fills the air, a primal aroma that speaks of the wild. Over his shoulder you see a freshly caught rabbit, or perhaps a pheasant, its lifeblood creating a stark, dark stain on the otherwise pristine snow. You can almost feel the rough, coarse texture of its pelt, still holding the lingering chill of the outdoors, a tangible connection to the cold wilderness. The sharp, metallic tang of blood mingles with the earthy smell of the forest floor, a direct consequence of the eternal dance of life and death that unfolds in nature. It's a scene that is raw and fundamental, a potent reminder of the delicate balance of survival, where sustenance is earned through skill, patience, and a deep understanding of the natural world. In this moment, the cycle of life feels immediate and profound, a vital part of the village's existence. You are present for the visceral reality of preparing the hunt's bounty, a scene that demands both skill and a strong stomach. The air fills with the sharp, repetitive thwack of a skinning knife as it moves with practiced precision. There's the pungent, undeniable smell of raw viscera, a scent that speaks of the wild's intimate processes. You can feel the slick, cold flesh yielding to the blade, a tactile encounter that is direct and unmediated. This is not sanitized butchery. It is a hands-on engagement with the very source of sustenance, a testament to the raw, unvarnished relationship between predator and prey, between human and animal, all essential for survival. In this unadorned act, you witness the cycle of life in its most fundamental form, a vital truth woven into the fabric of daily existence. It's in facing these raw truths, these unmediated connections to the natural world, that you find a deeper understanding of resilience. You enter a space filled with a hushed, anxious atmosphere, the air thick with the palpable smells of sweat, strained breaths, and an undercurrent of fear. The rough texture of the birthing sheet beneath your touch is damp and worn, a testament to the raw intensity of the moment. Soft, intermittent cries rise from the laboring woman, each sound punctuated by the low, reassuring murmurs of the midwife, her voice a steady anchor in the room. There's also a faint, yet persistent, scent of herbs, subtly worked into the process to ease the passage. This is a ritual as ancient as humanity itself, a profound moment fraught with inherent peril, yet brimming with an almost overwhelming profound hope. It's in these moments of intense vulnerability and unwavering support that the continuity of life is so powerfully felt, a quiet strength radiating from the heart of the village. Suddenly, the hushed tension is broken by a startling sound, the thin, reedy cry of a newborn, a cry that cuts through the lingering anxiety like a sharp, clear note. You feel the surprisingly fragile weight of the swaddled infant in your arms, its skin impossibly soft, a delicate promise. The air, which moments before held the scent of exertion and apprehension, is now filled with the overwhelming, powerful aroma of milk and new life, a potent counterpoint to the preceding tension. The midwife's hands, experienced and astonishingly gentle, move with quiet purpose, performing the essential rites that mark this moment. This is a universal experience, yet intensely personal, underscoring the precariousness of existence and the enduring, cyclical nature of life. In this fragile beginning, you witness the raw beauty of continuation, a testament to life's persistent urge to push forward. Against all odds, you find yourself gathered around a crackling hearth, the air warm and heavy with the mingled scents of wood smoke and the savory aroma of roasting meat. The flickering firelight casts dancing shadows that stretch and morph across the faces of those around you, illuminating expressions of rapt attention. The low murmur of casual conversation gradually fades, giving way to the resonant voice of the storyteller. As the words begin to flow, you can almost feel the rough texture of the wooden benches beneath you, and the comforting warmth radiating from the flames draws you in. The storyteller weaves tales of ancient heroes and local legends, their voice a steady current carrying the collective memories and cultural heritage of the village. This is a communal moment, a shared experience of remembrance and transmission, where the past comes alive, connecting each listener to the enduring spirit of their community. And in the shared glow of the fire, you feel a sense of belonging, a quiet appreciation for the stories that shape us. As the storyteller's voice rises and falls, it paints vivid pictures in the firelight. You can almost hear the clang of swords, the imagined roar of beasts, and the subtle whispers of ancient magic. The audience's anticipation is a palpable thing, a shared hush, broken only by an occasional gasp of surprise or a soft chuckle. The air, already thick with the smell of wood smoke and roasting meat, now carries the faint, distinct aroma of pipe smoke, mingling with the general sense of the dwelling. These tales, you realize, are far more than mere entertainment. They impart wisdom, reinforce the fragile social bonds of the community, and provide a framework for understanding a world that often seems mysterious and untamed. In an era where widespread literacy is a distant dream, these stories are vital, serving as a living library of lessons, morals, and the enduring spirit of humanity. They are echoes of the past, shaping the present and guiding the future, a fundamental need fulfilled in the warm glow of shared narrative. This is a rare occasion, a fleeting moment when the usual quiet of the village is animated by the arrival of villagers from surrounding hamlets. The air itself seems alive, buzzing with a cacophony of sounds that momentarily disrupt the stillness. You hear the lively exchange of haggling voices, the distinct bleating of sheep, the insistent clucking of chickens, and the deep rumble of cartwheels navigating the frozen mud. A complex mingling of scents drifts on the air, the unmistakable odor of livestock, the earthy aroma of raw wool, the sharp fragrance of smoked fish, and, if you're lucky, perhaps even the faint sweetness of a rare pastry. You feel yourself gently jostled by the crowd, the occasional nudge, a reminder of the need to keep a firm grip on your meager possessions. This is a temporary surge of activity, a vibrant pulse in the otherwise hushed landscape, a welcome disruption that briefly ignites the everyday rhythm of life. It's a reminder that even in isolation, connection finds a way. You engage in the close examination of goods, feeling the coarse texture of linen that has been painstakingly woven, the satisfying weight of a sack of grain that promises sustenance, and the sharp glint of a newly sharpened knife, its edge a promise of utility. Your practiced eye assesses not just the appearance, but the true value of each item, understanding that coin is a rarity for many here, and the exchange is one of goods for goods, a fundamental form of commerce. A low hum of conversation surrounds you, punctuated by the occasional sharp negotiation, a back and forth that highlights the essential needs driving each transaction, and sometimes a quiet complaint about quality or price. This is commerce reduced to its most basic, honest form, driven by necessity and the fragile but crucial foundation of personal trust. It's in these exchanges, these carefully weighed transactions, that the true value of community is found, each piece of goods representing a shared effort to survive and thrive. As you step into the carpenter's workshop, you are immediately enveloped by the rich, resinous scent of freshly cut timber. The air is alive with the clean, sharp perfume of pine, oak, and ash, a fragrance so pure it seems to clear your head. Underfoot, the ground is a soft carpet of wood shavings, their texture crisp and slightly springy with each step. You hear the rhythmic rasp of a hand saw as it bites into the wood, a steady, measured sound, accompanied by the persistent, gentle tap-tap-tap of a mallet as it carefully assembles a joint. Sunlight filters through the open workshop door, casting warm beams that illuminate countless dust motes, dancing in the air, creating a hazy, ethereal glow. This is a place of quiet creation, where raw nature is transformed into functional forms, where the very essence of the trees is shaped by skilled hands into objects that serve and sustain. It's a space that breathes with the quiet industry of shaping, of building, of bringing order from the wild. You feel the satisfying heft of a completed piece of work, perhaps a sturdy table that will grace a family's mealtime, or a simple chest built to safeguard precious belongings. The surface of the planed wood is smooth to the touch, yet retains a subtle texture, a tactile reminder of its natural origins. You notice the precise fit of the joints, a testament to the carpenter's skill and patience. each connection seamless and strong. These items are not mere luxuries, they are necessities, integral to the functioning of every household, structures of survival, built to withstand the rigors of daily life. Imagine furnishing an entire home with only hand tools and raw materials, the dedication and immense patience required to shape each piece, to bring form and function to the raw timber. It's a process that imbues each item with a quiet strength, a silent story of labor and enduring purpose. You stand exposed on a windswept hill, the air thin and biting, a constant, raw caress against your skin. Before you stretches an endless expanse of rolling hills, dusted with a muted layer of snow, fading into a horizon that seems to merge with the pale winter sky. The incessant whistling of the wind is a constant companion, a sound that seems to both surround and penetrate, a ceaseless, low hum. From the distance you hear the faint, muffled bleating of sheep, tiny white dots scattered across the muted landscape, their sounds carrying faintly on the breeze. You feel the rough texture of your shepherd's cloak, pulled tight around you, a protective shield against the relentless elements. It's a profound sense of isolation you experience here, a solitude punctuated only by the natural sounds of the environment and the gentle presence of your flock. In this vastness there is a quiet peace, a stripping away of complexities to the essential rhythm of nature and existence. Your gaze constantly scans the horizon, a habitual vigilance for any sign of predators, the lurking wolves or the quick, opportunistic foxes. You feel the familiar, comforting weight of the shepherd's crook in your hand, a tool that is also a potential defense, its worn wood smooth from constant use. Then, a sharp bark from the sheepdog breaks the quiet, a sudden alert to some unseen disturbance. There's a subtle, gnawing anxiety that underscores the stillness, a quiet awareness of the flock's vulnerability, the ever-present possibility of loss. This is a life lived on the very edge of the wild, a perpetual negotiation between the necessity of providing for the community and the constant effort to protect them from the untamed forces of nature. It's a delicate balance, a quiet guardianship woven into the fabric of every passing moment. You are drawn into the immediate vicinity of the tanner's vats, and the air becomes thick, almost viscous, with an overwhelming and acrid stench. It's the powerful, decaying smell of raw hides mingled with strong tannins and other retting agents, a smell that clings stubbornly to the back of your throat. The sight before you is of hides submerged in murky, opaque vats, a process that is both essential for survival and deeply, undeniably unpleasant. You can feel the rough, leathery texture of partially treated skins, their surfaces cool and slightly yielding. This is a trade that sustains the village, providing necessary materials, but it demands a profound tolerance for the truly noxious, a willingness to engage with the less savory aspects of creation. It's a stark reminder that even the most vital necessities can carry their own pungent burdens. You are engaged in the laborious process of scraping and stretching the cured hides, feeling the sticky, pliable texture of the leather as it gradually begins to take shape under your hands. The lingering, pervasive smell, so pungent and deeply ingrained, clings to everything, a constant reminder of the transformation underway. This material, once raw and unwieldy, is becoming durable and protective, ready to be fashioned into boots, belts, and pouches, vital components for navigating daily life. The stark contrast between its initial, putrid state and the finished, functional product is a remarkable feat of early chemical and physical transformation, a testament to ingenuity born of necessity. It's in this meticulous shaping, this patient work, that the raw potential of nature is unlocked, ready to serve the needs of the village. This process, so demanding and aromatic, is a quiet cornerstone of survival, turning the unpleasant into the indispensable. You stand surveying the dormant fields, a vast expanse blanketed in a thick layer of snow that stretches out before you. The skeletal forms of bare trees stand in stark silhouette against a pale, washed-out sky, their branches reaching like frozen fingers. The air you breathe is sharp and clean, a pure coldness devoid of the usual earthy aromas of cultivation, a scent that speaks of deep rest. As you walk, your boots crunch on the frozen soil, a sound that seems to echo the waiting, the potential energy held captive by the frost. The sheer scale of the land is immense, seemingly empty, yet beneath the surface you sense the quiet promise of future sustenance, a life waiting to awaken. It's a landscape of patience, where growth is not yet visible, but its silent anticipation fills the air. In this stillness, there's a profound sense of the Earth's enduring cycle, a quiet promise of renewal. You stand in the barn, and the tangible reality of the stored grain surrounds you. You hear the dry, rustling sound as it shifts, a soft whisper that fills the quiet space, accompanied by the slightly musty, earthy smell of the harvest. There's a careful rationing happening, a delicate balance between ensuring enough seed for the eventual planting and reserving enough sustenance to survive the long, lean months until the next harvest. You can feel a deep yearning for the thaw, for the sun's returning warmth to awaken the land. This patience, this quiet faith in the inevitable cycle of seasons, is a core element of agrarian life, a profound trust placed in nature's eventual benevolence. It's a waiting game, a quiet knowing that life, though dormant, persists, holding within it the promise of renewal. In this careful preservation, you feel the echoes of generations who have placed their hope in the earth's capacity to nurture. A new sound breaks the familiar quiet of the village, the distinct jingle of harness bells, accompanied by the creak of wagon wheels, announcing the arrival of a rare visitor. This traveler brings with them a whiff of the outside world, a scent that is entirely unfamiliar. As they draw closer, you catch exotic aromas, the warm, sweet fragrance of spices like cinnamon and cloves, perhaps even a hint of perfumed oil, a stark contrast to the usual smells of damp wool and wood smoke. The merchant's attire, though worn, is colorful, a vibrant splash against the muted tones of the village landscape. This arrival is a gentle disruption to the familiar, a tantalizing glimpse beyond the borders of your world, sparking a quiet curiosity about what lies far beyond these snow-covered hills. It's a fleeting moment, a brief opening to the wider world. You examine the rare goods laid out for display, your fingers tracing the smooth feel of foreign materials, unlike anything found in the village. There are brightly colored threads, perhaps a small, polished mirror that catches the light, and dried fruits you've never seen before, their shapes and textures unfamiliar. The merchant's voice, animated and full of distant echoes, recounts tales of far-off lands, painting pictures with words of places you can only imagine. The exchange that follows is cautious, driven by a blend of essential need and burgeoning curiosity. This encounter broadens horizons, introducing concepts and materials that subtly challenge the village's insular existence, serving as a stark, yet gentle reminder of a larger, more complex world unfolding beyond these familiar, snow-covered hills. It's a moment that expands the edges of your awareness, a subtle shift in perspective. The pervasive chill you feel seems to settle not just on your skin, but deep within your bones, a cold that is more than just atmospheric. You hear the harsh, hacking coughs echoing through the dwellings, the labored, wheezing breaths of those afflicted. The air itself is thick with the smell of feverish sweat, an undeniable odor of sickness, and even the faint, cloying scent of medicinal herbs struggles to fully mask the underlying smell of illness. Those who are unwell move with a lethargic slowness, their eyes dull and unfocused. A constant, low-grade fear of contagion hangs in the air, a quiet tension that permeates every interaction. It's a stark reminder of the fragility of life, how easily the body can be overcome, and how even in the midst of community, the struggle against unseen forces can feel profoundly isolating. This is the breath of mortality, a somber shadow cast upon the village. You notice the unsettling closeness of the sick to the healthy, a shared existence where the air itself seems to carry the contagion, and effective treatments are few. Then, a sound pierces the quiet, the chilling toll of a bell, a stark announcement for the deceased, an occurrence that has become far too frequent during the long winter months. The care offered is rudimentary, simple broth, whispered prayers, and the often insufficient herbal remedies. You feel the emotional toll of witnessing such suffering and loss, an acceptance of mortality as a constant, silent companion. This reality stands in stark contrast to the capacity of modern healthcare to combat and contain illness, a world away from the gentle yet ultimately limited comfort provided here. It's a life lived with a profound awareness of vulnerability, where resilience is not just a virtue, but a necessity, and where the end of one life is an ever-present consideration in the continuation of others. You stand before the imposing silent presence of the frozen river, a vast, glassy expanse that cuts a silent swath through the landscape. An eerie quiet hangs in the air, broken only by the occasional, unnerving groan and crackle of the ice as it shifts under unseen pressure. The biting wind funnels down its length, carrying the sharp, clean scent of frozen water, a scent that is both invigorating and chilling. The treacherous beauty of the ice is captivating, shimmering under the weak sunlight, its surface a deceptive veil hiding unseen depths below. It is a boundary, both magnificent and dangerous, a natural barrier that separates and defines, holding its secrets beneath a surface of pure, silent white. This is nature's quiet power, a force both alluring and to be respected. You take tentative steps onto the ice, each one a careful test of its thickness, a silent question to its strength. The surface is slick and frictionless, demanding absolute concentration and a deliberate slowness in your movements. The sounds from the other side are muffled, distant, creating a sense of a world that is both familiar and slightly alien, separated by this frozen divide. As you move forward, there's a quiet focus, an awareness of the delicate balance between solid ground and the unseen depths below. Reaching the other side brings a subtle sense of accomplishment, a small victory over the natural obstacles that shape life here. It's a calculated risk, a testament to the knowledge gained from observing the environment, a moment of courage and connection between human intention and the forces of nature. In this quiet crossing, you feel the simple, profound satisfaction of overcoming a challenge, a quiet reaffirmation of resilience. There's a subtle shift in the air, a gentleness that was absent just days ago, carrying with it the faintest hint of damp earth, a scent long forgotten. From the eaves of the dwellings you hear the first hesitant, musical drips of melting snow, a hesitant percussion against the pervasive quiet. Across the landscape, patches of dark, mud-revealed ground begin to appear, like gentle bruises on the white canvas of winter. In the distance, you can sense the watercourses stirring, a low, subtle gurgle rising from beneath the ice, a sound that speaks of movement and awakening. The oppressive silence of deep winter, which seems so absolute, is slowly starting to recede, replaced by these tentative, yet unmistakable signs of change. It's a quiet promise, a gentle softening, hinting at the vibrant life that slumbers just beneath the surface, waiting for its season. You feel a tentative warmth on your skin, a gentle caress that's been absent for so long, a welcome relief after the relentless months of cold. The air, no longer sharp and biting, now carries the pungent, earthy smell of thawing mud, a scent that is rich and alive, speaking of deep changes beneath the surface. And then you see them, the first brave snowdrops, pushing their delicate, pale colors through the softening earth, a vibrant promise against the still lingering whites and grays of the landscape. This transition is not abrupt, it's a slow, gradual unfurling, a gentle awakening. It represents the enduring resilience of nature, and by extension of humanity, the unwavering hope that is so intimately embedded in the cyclical nature of existence. It's a lesson learned intimately here, in Snowy Sleep Village, a quiet testament to the enduring power of renewal. This feeling of change, of life returning, settles deep within you, a gentle current of enduring hope.